Hello and welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you come to react to things first. A new deck build pack is on the horizon. It feels like only yesterday that we were speculating how much of an impact that Ryziel and Malice and Ryugioh would have on the format, and hey, 2 out of 3 ain't terrible. Will Justice Hunters have the same level of impact on the new format when it releases? Only one way to find out, and that's by waiting for the cards to come out so we can see them being used in actual tournament series, as opposed to the speculations of people seeing it for the first time, because we're all out here trying to hype it up for views. That's just the nature of the game, everyone. But hopefully you'll enjoy this time with me being hyped for them as they come out, because as hyped as I may seem like I'm pushing it, I'm twice as hyped for the fact that we have another dragon theme that loves fusion summoning. I can't contain the branded energy, I'm sorry, it's just a part of who I am now. I have replaced my personality with loving Yu-Gi-Oh lore, it's just that simple. Let's take a look and see what Dragon Tail, perfect banner by the way, Dragon Tail has to offer for us. And immediately it is a spellcaster. Dragon Tail Lucius, Earth spellcaster, level 4, 1800 attack, 700 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once each turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Dragon Tail monster from your deck to your hand, except a copy of this card. Neat. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set a Dragon Tail spell or trap card from your deck. Okay, so, you know, fingers crossed that this develops into something. Being a searcher on summon that also searches when you use it as material probably makes this the best fusion material in the whole deck, so we'll have to keep that one in mind. Dragon Tail Femina. Level 5 water spellcaster, 1300 attack, 2500 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. It is also a spellcaster, not looking too good, folks. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can discard this card to fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Main phase quick effect, not battle phase, because we can't have more El Shaddai fusions. Heaven forbid we get more El Shaddai fusions. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set a Dragon Tail spell or trap card from your deck. So we have more than one card that does that. Never mind, they're all good to use as fusion material. Okay, Dragon Tail Parn Wind Dragon. Okay, we're back in this, folks. Dragons are on the menu. Level 7 Wind Dragon, 2700 attack, 1700 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. If this card is sent to the grave as fusion material for a fusion summon, you can set a Dragon Tail spell or trap card from your deck. Then you can destroy a monster on the field. So we get to set and get removal. I'm kind of worried how many of these set these cards, though, because either that means that they'll be ridiculously busted because we'll almost always have access to them, or they'll be completely worthless so as not to overtune it. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, if any number of them, I should say, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon a non-fusion Dragon Tail monster from your graveyard. Okay. So it recycles it. It's not if a face-up control is destroyed, not would be destroyed. I thought this would be a replacement effect reading it starting out, but no. So fusion monster you control gets destroyed, has to be face up. Recycle this, get a Dragon Tail from our graveyard that's not a fusion, which can be either one of these. We actually kind of don't want to summon Femina because its fusion summon effect is a discard. We need that in our hand, if anything else. But if we bring back Lucius, then we get a search. That's pretty good. So that's a pretty nifty set so far. Dragon Tail Ulgra. Level 6 fire dragon, 2400 attack, 1000 defense. Monarch! They made a Monarch stats! I gotta redo Monarch Explained. Dang it. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is sent as material to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set a Dragon Tail spell or trap card from your deck. Then you can destroy a spell or trap card on the field. So this is back row removal as opposed to monster removal like Parn. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a spellcaster Dragon Tail monster in your graveyard and place this card on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. Okay, so Ulgra gets Femina back into your hand, while Parn puts Lucius onto the board to trigger its effect. Okay, so these kind of have not specific monsters they have to summon, but they do have optimal ones that they do summon. Okay, I dig. All right, Dragon Tail Altharian, level 8 Earth Fusion Dragon, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. There's that number. Requires a Dragon Tail monster plus one or more monsters in your hand. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target monsters on the field and or in the graveyard up to the number of monsters used as fusion material from the hand specifically, and then return those cards to the hand. So big bounce. At least one bounce, which is pretty nice. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So that would be if you fusion summon. Because generally those are going to take 2 or more material. Obviously it also counts things like Raigekiing, Dark Holing, if you ritual summon with multiple monsters. I guess it also triggers on synchro summoning and link summoning, because those monsters are being sent to the graveyard at the same time. I'm pretty sure they're not being sent sequentially, and it's not a when effect, so there's a lot of ways to bring this back. Then he's got a big body. Okay. Dragon Tail Grammel, level 7 water spellcaster fusion. So we do have a spellcaster fusion one, but I guess that makes sense because the water spellcaster that does the fusion summons can fusion summon for both types. 1 Dragon Tail and specifically 1 monster in your hand, 2800 attack, 2300 defense, level 7. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. When you activate a Dragon Tail card or effect as a quick effect, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. Love incidental, just free blast stuff. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Dang it, they're different levels. We can't exceed something with them to reset it, though we could overlay them with other things, and nothing has locked us out of doing any kind of particular extra deck summons, so we could pivot to using these as Xyz material to keep it going. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so now we get to see those wonderful spell and trap cards. Are they worth setting with this effect? Are they going to make an impact? Ketu Dragon Tail, normal spell card, so once you set it, you get to play it immediately. So that's a great up already. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Add a Dragon Tail monster from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Okay, so it's a search, and then you get to send immediately send for fusion summoning. This is best. I think this is best to use with things like the dragons, right? Because we want to summon Lucius, and we want to pitch the other spellcaster for our fusion summoning effect, but the dragons have effects in graveyard, and we want to use them as fusion material, so we want to grab the dragons. We also want to give our opponent a monster, so maybe this is another circumstance where we play Ken and Gen, just to fill our opponent's board with something turn 1. Rahu Dragon Tail, normal spell card, once again, immediate activation once we set it. Fusion summoning Dragon Tail fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, and or field as material. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn after this card. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except fusion monsters. Okay, so I gotta check here. So we can use material from our deck for this. Now I am checking what these say. This card is sent to the graveyard as material. It does not say from where. This card is sent to the graveyard as material. Does not say from where. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material and it has the... Oh, wow. Oh, that's heinous. So we fusion summon either of our... No, but both of them require a monster from the hand, so we can't double send. So it's not entirely free. We will have to use a monster from our hand for one of them. That being said, you know, a free send from deck... Get the pop, get another set. This is still pretty good. This still rules. And wait a sec, the material is a monster in hand. These are just monsters in hand. They can be with anything. That's wild. That's hilarious. That makes them so splashable. Now, of course, Rahu Dragon Tail does have that whole locks you into fusion summons for the rest of the turn situation on there. But A, it's for the rest of the turn. So if you bring back the level 7s and 8s with their own effect and then Xyz summon before establishing this, you can still make an Xyz summon and then Rahu Dragon Tail summon. So it's not branded fusion. It's for the rest of the turn. Though, to be fair, probably might want to play it with branded, so maybe we will fusion lock ourselves for the whole turn. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, Dragon Tail Horn, Shattering Strike! For all of my Dimension Chasers watchers fans out there, y'all know the power of my character, Crest Knight. Normal trap card, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target an attack position monster, return it to the hand or extra deck, and then you can place a Dragon Tail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, except a copy of this card, then draw a card. So it's a compulse? I wonder why it's saying return to hand or extra deck. I think maybe it's to, like, because it's a then, so it has to do the first one. So they're specifying extra deck to cover for hitting extra deck monsters. That way you can still do the rest of the card. And that's pretty cool because it takes from graveyard or banishment as part of that recycle effect. So it's basically a cantrip. You play it, the trap card replaces itself with the draw, you recycle, and you get to bounce a monster. Not terrible. Not a terrible card to just be all like, hey, as part of my combo line, I set removal and pass. That means that you can commit a lot less of your non-engine to board. Well, I don't want to say not board breakers, because this is not a board breaker. This is spot removal at best. But now you don't need as much spot removal because you get to have it in engine. Okay, last one, Dragon Tail Flame. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target a face-up spell on the field, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then you can place a Dragon Tail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of your deck, except a copy of this card. Then draw a card. Oh, but you could put a copy of Horn on the bottom of the deck and have Horn and Flame infinitely set themselves back into the deck, so you can... Oh, I wonder. Interesting. It's weird that it's a spell on the field. Like, it only hits spell. I mean, spells are pretty powerful, obviously, but why couldn't it just be a card? I mean, I guess the idea is they don't want to make it too powerful. They don't want to put an on-field Omni Negate. Even though we have a ton of those, like nowadays, we've kind of gotten away from the land of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, where they were like the only thing that just hit cards randomly on the field at quick speed. This still hits really important cards, like obviously things like Triple Tactics Thrust, Harpy's Feather Duster, generic engine spells for decks. Having access to that at the drop of a hat is pretty good. I wouldn't cut this because spells are so important. It just feels weirdly limited to what it can do. But it's hard to complain about it, especially when you're getting it for free. Oh boy, I hope we get more though, I will say. So we have a spell or trap card for each of our monsters. So if we cycle through all of their effects in a single turn, we are then able to get all of these into rotation. One of them is also an additional fusion summon that we can utilize. One of them is a search that is also a fusion. What I like is that Rahu Dragon Tail specifically summons a Dragon Tail fusion monsters, but Ketu can fusion summon any dragon or spellcaster. Same with getting her name, Femina. So we actually have a large breadth of things we can fusion summon with those, like the branded cards. It's not just dragons we're making. Gronguinol is a spellcaster, so you can make some of that with this. Granted, Femina is not a light spellcaster, nor a light or dark monster. But, you know, you have to discard Femina anyway, so it's not like they have to be the right fusion material. It's the other thing. This is interesting. So, despite the fact that there is some synergy with Branded here, there's not a huge overlap, right? Femina and Lucius don't really have any of the stats that line up with the Dogmatica Despia stuff. Like, they don't have an attack or defense value that's equal to each other. They're not light spellcasters. They're not tuners, so they didn't have to be for that, though I guess it would have helped in that regard. But that would be just, you're just printing extra branded cards instead of things that work with branded, which is the idea of deck build packs, is to have their own distinct archetypes, not just feed into other existing themes. That's what the reprints in this set are for. Really great, like, consistency here. Because the fusion monsters have such a generic requirement here, just any on-theme monster and then any number of monsters in the hand, you can trigger a ton of stuff. The illusion chimera stuff all triggers when sent to the graveyard by I think it's by fusion material. It's either fusion material or card effect. But by being able to use them, if you don't otherwise have access to fusions, you can send them from your hand, gain access to that, get their effects. Altharian is just fantastic removal. It does target, unfortunately. Oh, but it also gets cards from the graveyards into the hand too. So you could recycle your own cards, the material, even the material. That's pretty cool. You can pitch Femina for the fusion summon, and it won't be part of the material, but you could bounce it back to hand. Oh, I didn't even consider that about Altharian's ability to like recycle your monsters in graveyard. Oh, that's good. I think there's potential. I don't think that this shell here is the kind of oppressive pile that makes for an out of the gate rule over the game theme like Ryziel was, and arguably Malice. But this definitely plays along with a lot of existing support. So I think we've got a contender here. I think we've got a contender for good support for Dragon Fusion decks. The fact that it's a Dragon and Spellcaster does mean that we can do more friggin' Dragoon nonsense. And I always like when we can summon Dragoon in an easy way. But I think that's all I've got on Dragon Tales. A little surprised that we got Spellcasters in the mix, but I'm not super complaining now that I've seen everything. What do you all think? Am I massively overestimating the effectiveness of Am I massively overestimating the abilities of things like Ketu, Rahu, all of our free trap sets that are used as removal when we use these things as fusion material? Or are we looking at the next wave of true dragon supremacy? We've got earth, we've got water, we've got wind, we've got fire. Folks, those are like dragon ruler attributes. We can play dragon rulers too. Can you think? This will be completely fine and not busted in any way. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are some other things that you're interested in splashing these things with? I'm too branded pilled to know of any other deck this could be played with, but you might know better. Let me know down below what your thoughts are about this. I'd love to read all of them. And I guess, is there anything else? You know, if you've listened to this long, then you enjoy listening to me ramble a whole bunch about cards. Is there anything else that you'd like to hear updates on in the Yu-Gi-Oh sphere? There's like big drops between set releases, and I like having things to react to. But I don't know if like random merchandise stuff is up everyone's alley. If you've watched this far, then, you know, I very much value your opinion on the matter. What would you come back to listen to me yap about more? And I think that's about all I've got for you right now. Let me know your thoughts down below. What else you want me to react to? And until the next time Konami drops some juicy spoilers, I will see all of you next time. Bye-bye. Today's episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales that even come with their own lore, and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout. It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media, and the Critic of Innocence, Nebula Navigator's Third Dynasty, 50 Gigabytes, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Kane Senpai, Charlie Mercury, Chibi Gohan, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Comrade Copperbottom, Eric, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Hair Bear, Happy Majin, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Mike Cook, Millennia Asta, Muse Clark, Neon Yami Nair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Bactboos, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sonic 21 Blast, Thievery Coast and the Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders Ally Vatnia, Animasta, Anthrak, Baron von Titty Sprinkles, Beelzebub, Fish, Beluga Master, Blitzwolf, Charlie Mercury, again, Chaz Ghost, Dr. Entity RIP, Eva Padilla, Gary Lickbread, Hike Boyagian, Herbal D, Inblink, Kale the Dragon, Lobomaru 02, Manga Pages, Natiel Lee Alexander, Nitromo, Not Algor, Nyx, Obsidian, Pombo, Rain, Rhyme Kairos, Shizuka Nijimura, Cernite JCB, Sophie, apparently, Sphilia, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, The Phantom Knights of Shitted Pants, The Gene, Tiger X2476, Weasel King of Weaseltown, and Zaldreka, as well as all the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you check out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining as a YouTube member.